Hello, ladies, gents, and smelly nerds blazing through a power fantasy. Today I bring you menus. Glorious menus. I've been gushing about Pathfinding Wrath of the Righteous for quite a while now. I've fallen into this game. I don't want to ever come back out. And I've been so impressed with its leveling system. The breadth and depth of all the things that they have implemented in this game. I really want to make a highlight of it. Just show you the insane level of choice that you have in this game. You could be playing this game for the next 2,000 hours and still not see every mechanic that there is. Are you seeing all of these? I can't drag that. I'll just use my mouse wheel. All these are different classes that you can pick, and then there are prestige classes later on that you have to meet the requirements as you level up. Are you seeing this insane amount of choice? Alchemist, Arcanist, Barbarian, Bard, Blood Rager, Cavalier, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Hunter, Inquisitor, Kineticist, Magus, Monk, Oracle, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Shaman, Skald, Slayer, Sorcerer, Warpriest, Witch, Wizard. Are you nuts? And then you're like, all right, well, okay, I'll play a wizard. Oh, really? You want to be a wizard? But do you want to be an arcane bomber? Do you want to be a cruoromancer? Do you want to be an elemental specialist, an explorer wizard, scroll savant, spellmaster, Thessalonian specialist, maybe? Or maybe you don't even want to be a wizard. Maybe you want to be a sorcerer. It's a different flavor of wizard. Look at all the different flavor of wizards that there is. Maybe the wizard or sorcerer is just too plain out. Maybe you want to be a witch instead. But what kind of witch? Elemental witch, hagbound, hex channel. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, this is not like each and every one of these classes is not 100% distinct from one another. It's not like, did they not implement, how many is this? About 25 up to maybe 30 with these? It's probably like 35 or something like that. Not all of them have a specific distinct playstyle. There's a lot of hybrids here. Like I said, wizard and witch and sorcerer. There are spell flingers. They're just different flavors of it. You have the rogues, and then the bard is like a hybrid of rogue and spell flinger. Is more of a support class. The shaman will be a witch mixed with melee kind of thing, but with its own flavor. There's a lot of hybridization and cross-pollination between all of these different classes, but still, the distinction between them is enough for you to spend the next couple hours just reading through it and being like, I have no idea what to pick. Well, what you pick is you set an archetype in your head and see what you want to match it with. Here we have Mr. Clean. He is a lawful evil fellow that pretends on the surface to be the greatest guy. He outwards facing, he's a saint, but inside he's evil to the core. I thought he would be a kineticist. Where is it? Kineticist, kinetic knight. Kineticist is one of the most unique classes in the game. Shorthand for it would be maybe an archer, but with the energy in your hands. And that's the kineticist class. It has a lot of, nuance to it, but basically that you just throw out balls of energy and physical attacks through the power of your mind and your hands. You just blast it out. Except the kinetic knight focuses that into a blade and jumps straight into the fray of battle. It can be tanky. It can be a melee DPS monster. He can probably be both if you build it correctly. Building a character correctly in this game is pretty hard. You better, if you want to play harder difficulties, do yourself a favor. Look up builds online, because you're not going to succeed on the first or the 20th try to properly build a character. Let's go with that kinetic knight choice. He's going to be an Azimar. It goes with the flavor of him going this holy creature that is actually really evil inside. As an Azimar, you also get to pick your bloodline. Most other races also, I think all of them, have also their own little flavors. Angelkin, Emberkin, Idolkin, they all have like a different ascendancy from a background. The blood, the angelic blood that they have, it comes from different creatures of the plains. He's going to be a Plumkith, simply because it gives bonuses to dexterity, and as a kineticist, that's what I care about. And wisdom, having will saves is one of the hardest things to bump up, so having a little bit of extra wisdom, it will help. Then you get to pick a background, another choice for your character creation. From craftsman to warrior, this fella is going to be a noble leader or maybe a courtier. Trickery, he's not going to do trickery. Persuasion and knowledge word to his class skills. Sure, he's going to be an emissary. He goes around, he's a bit of a diplomat. Not really, he's a leader. He's a leader by birth, damn it. As a kineticist, we're going to give him a ton of constitution, going to dump the crap out of this charisma and wisdom, all the way down to 9. Maybe I'll bump it up to 10, so I don't have a -1 to the will saves. You know that if you have not idea how this game works, will saves means nothing to you, but I'm not like that's like getting way down in the weeds. Just max out that constitution, max out the dexterity. Actually, I would rather keep, like, the further up you go, the more it costs to build up those points. Let's give him another point of strength. That's pretty decent. You want a little bit of strength so you can actually wear things and not be over encumbered all times. He wants persuasion for sure, because some of his abilities are going to be dependent on that score. And you can either pick as a class skills, perception, or use magic device. It doesn't really matter. As a kineticist, you don't really care about anything else. I would not say this is a very good main character, although let's not get into that. Not very good main character for the story-wise, but your companions are going to help you out with skill checks and all that stuff, so it really doesn't matter. As a kinetic blade wielder, he's going to have weapon finesse. For some reason, this must be a bug. You select this, and then you unselect it, and suddenly it becomes recommended. This definitely works. You want this because the blade that you wield, the energy blade, does fall into weapon finesse. But what do you pick as somebody that just comes into the game and you're like, what am I supposed to do here? A blind fight? That sounds pretty good. I mean, there are recommended ones, but if you follow only the recommended things, your build will be mediocre, probably. That's where looking things up comes in. I'm going to go with weapon finesse, which means that my dexterity is going to be useful instead of my strength when determining whether I hit my enemy or not. Then as a kineticist, you pick an element. I'm going to pick earth. This is like, I'm just getting through the menus to get to the next part of the... He's going to be an atheist. An atheist. Oh, and he's going to be lawful evil. His appearance, I already have done it. Here is Mr. Clean, the brave voiced Mr. Clean. His birthday is on the 7th of Farast, of course. All right, off goes Mr. Clean with all his abilities. I just wanted to show you also, that is the first level. That's the first level kineticist. Are you locked into that? No. You can pick a level of Cavalier if you feel like it next. You can be a level of Scald, a level of Wizard. I picked my level of Kineticist, and now I'm just going to be a Wizard. You can mix and match at every single level up the classes that you have. It's completely bonkers, the amount of customization that this game can have. Now, I have looked up builds on this and, to be more knowledgeable about it. As a Kinetic Knight, you want to stick with Kinetic Knight until maybe level 10 or 16 or something like that, and then you start picking other classes to supplement your shortcomings. So it's not something that is good, but just for the example's sake, Kineticist, but then I also want a level of Ranger, because it allows me, this is as an example, I'm going to pick a level of Demon Slayer, because it allows me to have demons as my favorite enemy, which gives me a massive bonus to being able to hit demons. This is, for example, all the level dip, as they call it, that you can never go wrong with. You go with dabbling a little bit in vivisectioning enemies, because it gives you sneak attacks and a massive buff in the form of the mutagen. You see what I'm just trying to showcase the breadth and depth, all the options that you have when making up a character and the build that you have is just absolutely insane. I'm just so impressed by this leveling system. I absolutely love it. We're going to just go with kinetic knight for the 4 levels that I have on this guy. This is just the one guy that I'm showing you. He's going to have a freaking viper for a familiar. That's what he's picking. This is the respec NPC that allows you to respec if you enable it. If you want to play on core difficulty, which is like 2 levels below the hardest, you can't really... Where is the kinetic blast? You can't really enable that guy, but I was like, whatever. I don't want bragging rights. I love being able to respec my characters and fix mistakes that I have made. So I have no problem enabling this. And oh no, I don't get achievements anymore. Oh, woe is me. It's like, I don't give a crap. But anyway, get that one over there. I'm just trying to get through these. All right, they're completed. Oh, the kinetic knight. Now, do you think that's all? That's not all. Let me show you. This is Desolation. My main character is the one that is most advanced in the story. About level 10-ish, when you're getting up to that point, you get to pick your mythic path. On top of all the other choices in the story, your class choices, all the things. Right now, she's an arcane trickster, which is a hybrid of like a spellcaster that can do sneak attacks with the spells. Is perhaps my favorite class in the entire game. But when you get up to about this level 10 in the story, you get to choose the mythic path. You can be angel, demon, the lich mythic path, the trickster. All of these change the story. And there are 5 others in this dialogue. I know 2 of them, I simply tossed them away. I wanted nothing to do with them, so they're not available here. I don't know what these 3 others are. They exist. Maybe it's a choice that comes later on. But on top of all the other choices that you're making, you also get to pick this mythic path. And the difference is pretty significant on all your stories. So the combinatorial nightmare that is, if you want to see everything this game has to offer, you could never, like, it's almost infinite. If you were trying to be exhaustive and I want to play every single class with every single path, ain't gonna happen. On top of all that, you also need to pick who you're gonna shag. It's so important to have proper romance options, you know. Anyway, she picked Trickster because she is one mischievous piece of garbage. You get to pick all kinds of powers associated with this mythic class. These are actually available to her. Let me just pick one for the sake of it. This is already saved. This is doesn't have any effect on my current playthrough. I'm just showing you because it's so insane. Improve abundant casting. What a wonderful thing to have. Then she loves to infuse magic devices. These are all options that you're gonna spend. I probably spent an hour just reading through all these choices and picking the one that better fits the way that I want to play. Then you get a spell for your trickster ability. We can get grease. We can get one of summon monster 0, which apparently creates an extra planar murder pony to yours. As a trickster, it's kind of like a jokey, mischievous class, so it's going to have some goofy stuff. But hopefully it also allows me to do the most evil, awful pranks imaginable. I very much hope that I will be very disappointed if I cannot be a total piece of garbage with my trickster choices. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that because the amount of builds and different characters you can play this game. And I've been very impressed too, like in the dialogue choices, even your choice of deity will be reflected in some dialogue choices. Sometimes, like it's not like a lot. It takes a lot of work to account for every single thing that you can possibly choose. But the game does acknowledge your choice of who you worship sometimes by giving you an option saying, "Oh, according to Iomide, this is blah blah blah, and this scratches my asshole wrong because you are being blasphemous," or that kind of thing. And only for a character with that deity that will be available. It's just impressive. The amount of work that they put into this game is super impressive. There is Desolation getting her incredible mythic powers. I don't want to show too much here because this is basically spoilers. Let me just hit that escape button. I don't want to spoil the game for you. I just wanted to show how much there is to do in this game. Hopefully, if you're a super nerd like me, like I'm sure a lot of you will bounce right off seeing that menu nightmare. Be like, holy shit, I don't want this headache. I don't want to do anything like that. But if you're a super nerd like myself, you may have creamed your pants just looking at all that and just rushing to buy and install this game because I love it. I love the insane amount of choice and the player freedom in the way that you build your character. I absolutely adore it. Maybe you will as well. Hopefully you enjoy this little highlight. I am very much in love with this game. It's a fantastic game. Desolation will now continue to absolutely destroy each and every one of her enemies with no mercy shown whatsoever.